I just want to let you know, are you out of your mind, all you warmongering fucking fool? Let her think! You don't think! You just want to squeak. Hey, Bill Gates, this is your war, baby. They picked on you as a child, now you're gonna get even with everybody on Earth, baby. You need to be in a little sandbox, baby. And you can work out your differences there. I'm sorry they pantsed you. Sorry they ran him up the flagpole. Cause it's childhood trauma. After all, you destroyed all children. You won, baby. Just wanna let you know, are you out of your mind, all you warmongering fucking fool? I just wanna let you know, are you out of your mind, all you warmongering fucking fool? Let her think! You don't think! Hey, Bill Gates, this is your war, baby. They picked on you as a child, now you're gonna get even with everything. In a little sandbox, baby. And you can work out your differences there. I'm sorry they advanced you. Cause it's childhood trauma. After all, you destroyed all children. Just wanna let you know, are you out of your mind, all you and all points in between, and everything that is created and not created, all belongs to one source. Isn't that interesting? Well, not enough, because I got a few things to do today on the agenda of, we are at war on many fronts. We have a soft civil war in America. We have a global civil war. I don't know if you could call it that. We have a global World War III. We have rumors of by Wayne Allen Root is talking about a some contact he has in the CIA talking about Red Dawn scenario in America. So let me just once again repeat myself over the last 20 years and explain what's going on. Because, a terrestrial reasoning won't work for you guys. I know that. But let's just, check ourselves here and understand. We were always headed for this. There was never any doubt. It was never. I've been around so many people that are so wishy-washy. They just, well, we could pray, God can sweep it away, this and that. They're just not sure what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. And even, Jonah and Nineveh, the Nineveh situation, the prophet had to stick his neck out and say, this is going to happen, unless you repent. Well, eventually, I think, didn't Nineveh just disappear? So one of the point I'm trying to make here is that because of the shasdom, the system, the shamdom, and because of the things we talked about in the very beginning, and that I talked about, and because of the things, I got incarcerated for the truth. For running my mouth as a teenager, I got locked up. And gang stalked, driven to suicide, suicided. In other words, assassination attempts and all that stuff. And even up to recently in the hospital, there was violence against me. So, but I'm not kidding. It's not like accidental. It was, but I don't talk about it because it's just really insane of a topic. But it's the same thing as when the young man was graduating. I don't know whether it was high school or college, whatever. And he said something about Jesus, and they withheld his diploma. They wouldn't give him a diploma. But this is, a lot of people pass this story up. This is a very important story, folks. They wouldn't give him his diploma in America because he said the name Jesus. And I double checked it. It was because he referred to Jesus. I mean, that's the reason they withheld the diploma. These are the most foul, disgusting, and evil people you'll ever see. And from the spiritual perspective, they're already dead, okay? They're already dead. And you say, well, how can they behave that way? How come they did everything that you said they were going to do, Zeph? How did it get that bad? Because a lot of people would check me and go, well, it's bad, but you exaggerate, Zeph. You've exaggerated over the years. And now nobody is saying that to me. In fact, I've been vindicated 100%. But I'm also part of it. What do you mean? I'm a part of it. I'm in the war. I'm like a warring angel with a big sword. You know what I mean? And cutting down the forces of delusion, ignorance, antichrist, people that do harm to children, people that do harm to adults, people that do harm to human, people that want a post-human world. Are they not my enemy? Are they not my enemy? That apple juice is good, but it's no match for the fresh, off the tree, sitting here early. I wanted to wait before I weighed in. I know that Pia out there was saying something to me yesterday that confirmed something about the Civil War movie she felt was, and I don't even want to put words in her mouth because she's very particular take on things. And what did she say? I can't quote it. Something like, it was an infomercial. Okay, I think she said that. It was an infomercial for the Civil War to come. But see, here's the thing. I look at that as only one small part, one small component of what I knew would back in 2003, I was talking about going door to door, taking people, oh, we're taking you to the camp. No, you're not going to do that with me. Taking you to the camp, whatever. And they take them out, and the mass graves already dug, and then they shoot them all, not far from their homes in the suburbs. This is the big next battlefront that's going to open up is the suburbs, where they go door to door and take people and kill them all, put them in mass graves. This is identical to what happened in Russia. And if you don't think it can repeat again, you're not really paying attention. Of course, I was way early in 2003 saying that, but I said that's the logical, that's where this goes, okay? That's where this, what do you want to call it? This evil, but it progresses to that point. I said, don't think they're not going to, and people were so mad. They said, they're not going to take us out in a truck like they're taking us to a concentration camp or something, or taking us to a shelter and then just gun us all down and throw us in a mass grave. And then here it was in the movie. The part about the movie that I really felt was kind of a clue with Civil War was the sequence. I think the best sequence in the whole film for me was the suburbs part where they went to like a neighborhood in the suburbs, nice houses, and they killed everybody, and they were putting them in a mass grave when we catch up to them, and there's like 100 bodies in there or more, and they're putting the chemical on them for decomposing and for the stench. And the journalist happened upon them, and the older journalist says, don't let them see you. They don't want to be seen doing what they're doing, digging mass graves. That's what Nazis do, type of thing. No, that's what Americans do. That's what the people. That's why we have, war-aged males coming across the border and being taken to training camps by NGOs. They're taken to training camps. They are trained. We've seen it. We've been eyewitnesses of it. They're trained not just with weapons and so forth, but they're trained. So point is, if there is a Red Dawn scenario, okay, the Red Dawn scenario is being quarterbacked from inside the United States. The government wants to get rid of the people en masse. And, and people, I don't know how many, I think I can repeat this over and over until it actually happens, which won't be that long from now. And unless there's a change, and I'm always willing to say, yeah, there could be a change. There was definitely a delay back in 2003. I thought that was imminent, but I never know. But all of these things are meant to, the whole purpose of all these, it just couldn't be more obvious. And the purpose of it all is to let you to understand the truth that the policy for going forward is a post-human world. That is without you in it, without your family, without your kids. They don't care about any of that. And the people implementing it are the governments of the world that have signed treaties and coalesced to get rid of their populations. And then after that, what they don't realize is they're next after that. But that's the plan. And that's what they began with COVID. And I think that should have been a wake-up call for people. But when I was in the hospital, there are people there, hey, would you like to have a vaccine? Sure, they're all getting vaccines, and they're going on and doing whatever the doctors tell them, and they're intubating people to death, and it's unbelievable. But it's not surprising. All of it is, see, that's I think the thing that vexes a lot of prophetic voices and people that are making accurate predictions and people that understand what's going on. I think what's really very difficult for them is is to announce things, to have it confirmed, and then to have the public act blasé about it, because you know what's going to happen. They'll be killed where they stand. They're all going to be cut down to just blood, sinew, and tissue, on the ground. That's what they're going to be. And it's their fault. Now, let me get back into the war a bit. What side am I on? I'm not on the side of ignorance. I'm not on the side of people that just decide, well, this is the only system we have and I'm going to abide in it. They've made their choice. They're going to die in it. I don't see, mass repentance. I see mass death. So they're going to die in it. And they're going to die at the hands of the warring angels. Not evil. It's cleansing. It needs to happen. Whether it happens now or later, it needs to happen. People get mad. I got to get rid of this corruption. I got to go, if we could just eliminate these people or those people. Yes, brother, that's correct. You need to eliminate the apostates that are bringing about all the bad luck and strife and war, and and really all that means is that we need to repent, turn back to God, et cetera, and I know that sounds like a cliche, and it almost sounds trite, but that is not trite at all. It means living a different way. It means living a different system. It means living a different way. It means, no longer for yourself, but for Christ. It's a whole different, it's a whole different thing. And it's all about service to others. And I think, to me, slaying a person and converting a person to the truth, just to truth. I think slaying a person or converting them to truth are both equal. Whether you slay or convert to truth, it's the same slaying in each case. When you come to truth, you're slain, because the old you is just nothing but a lie. You are a lie. You look in the mirror, you don't even know what's there. It doesn't cast a reflection because you've signed on to evil. In other words, you've agreed to serve the system. You've agreed to do what your teachers tell you. You have agreed to be a force of evil. You have agreed to prey upon humans, to hurt them, to harm them, and to lead them ultimately to death. So repentance would be a slaying of your plan, which may not be your plan, but it's the one that's inculcated into you. And then there's the other plan, which is to die on cue. In other words, you've done your bit, now it's time for you to die. And there's a number of people that will take you up on it. They don't want to change. They would rather die. Euthanasia sounds good to them. So really, when you start talking about all this stuff, it's not monolithic. It's not dualistic either, good versus evil. It is a very clear, however, very easy to explain and easy to understand. It's more than a spiritual battle, it's a war. And the war is for the souls of humanity, right? Jesus is not saving robots. So the whole point is to show people, to teach people a better way, the way of truth, as opposed to the way of lies. Right now, all the religions on earth are lies. All the institutions on earth are lies. Every religion has failed. All sciences have failed because they're all corrupt. All hospitals have failed. Medicine's failed. Business has failed. Everything has failed. People have failed. I was talking to someone yesterday about how a guy spends all his time trying to cover up his affairs. Trying to cover up his misdeeds. Spending all his time trying to rehearse the lie. What do I tell the wife? What do I tell the kids? What do I tell and it's a constant life full of all these stupid childhood games which are meaningless and which show this person is absolutely worthless, completely useless. Of course, that's what he's been told to be. It's not entirely his fault. He didn't plan on being useless. He thought if he got a degree and he went to college, rather, he got a diploma and he went to college and then he got a profession, that he could be a contributing member of society, which turns out to be nothing but a shit show. But couldn't you see that in the beginning? Yes, but how else was someone supposed to make a living? You're not making a living, you're making a dying. You're dying. You serve the system, you're dying. What's the first thing that dies when you serve the system? Hands, anybody? Your dreams. Your hopes and dreams. What happens to people that think they know a lot? Led Zeppelin. Many wonder how much there is to know, or something like that. Well, I can tell you how much there is to know, Bobby. Ain't no problem. Ring me up sometime. I'll tell you the whole thing. I'll tell you the whole purpose of your life. And the whole purpose of what people, well, rock and roll saved me. Rock and roll, the three-piece suit rock and roll, the money put into rock and roll. Rock and roll was there for social engineering, period. And so is pop. So is entertainment. So is sports. It's all, but the main reason is because all these venues, all these propaganda pushes are there to sell you on the commercials. I had a lot of time to analyze the fast food commercials. Taco Bell, Burger King, and the others. And what I understood was that the whole point is to make people unhealthy enough to get the real frequencies, which are that, humans are bad, humans are, they should just do what they're told, obviously to become subservient, to break your back. The other thing that goes when you agree to serve the system is your freedom's gone. Your freedom goes on day one. The minute you're a teenager and you say yes, it's like the band Yes. They want you to say yes. That's why they named themselves Yes. They want you to say yes to it, to the loving world. Say yes. And all your problems are over, teenager. You don't have to commit suicide now. Everybody loves you. Now get in line and do what you're supposed to do. And what have you done for me lately, kid? Well, you better get with it. Yeah, but that's all criminality and perversion and stuff. Did we ask for your feedback? No. Did I ask for your opinion? Either get busy or kill yourself. Thank you. Next, please. God, I hate people like that. Ungrateful little snot. Sound familiar? I'm good at dramatizing this stuff. Anyway, so now we're at the inflection point as of yesterday. People thought Trump wasn't prophetic. Trump is a prophetic, he's like a prophetic card that was played. We have hit the inflection point. We have hit the milestone, okay? All systems go for the war. And what war is cooking right now? Let's see. We're on the verge of a nuclear war between the United States and Russia through a proxy, NATO. Well, simply because the Ukrainians are all dead. Okay. But then again, is there anything about that we didn't tell you in the beginning? No. So, whose fault is it then? It's your fault. Because you don't listen. I can go over and over every little thing. You got to really give yourself to Jesus and make a show of it. No, not a show of it. In the quietude of your room, Lord, have your way with me today, please, and every day and every moment. This is too complex for any one man to grok. Now you're talking. It is not simply a binary war, okay? It is too complex for any one person to really grok, unless you want to call it a spiritual war, but a spiritual war has millions of aspects to it. So it may be simple in its sort of gestalt, but in the overall expansion of it, it can be very complex, as evil is very complex. The people here that convicted Trump, they think, and I'm of the opinion that movie Civil War was about killing Trump. I mean, that's right. I think they went to the White House to kill Trump, and they're trying to hide it with all this Western forces and this different thing, trying to make it so it's not political. But everything's political these days. You can't really separate from politics. You know, like who was it that said? What philosopher that said, was it Socrates or was somebody that said if you don't pay attention to politics, you're going to be ruled by idiots? Yeah, you'll be ruled by idiots. Oh, I'm not political. Well, then you'll be ruled by an idiot if you're not political. If you have no opinion on what's going on right now, you're going to be, oh, I'm sorry, you are ruled by idiots, including the biggest idiot, which is yourself. Don't you think and all these Christian revival groups trying to pray all this away is sort of like being stuck in a septic tank, trying to pray away all the sepsis from getting you, and you're in the middle of the tank locked in. You know, the only way you're going to be free in that tank is if the tank is cleansed, emptied, and then, sterilized or whatever. You have to empty the septic tank and sanitize it. And then you've got something. But the idea of going in there and trying to clean it from the inside without draining it, which is like what the church is doing today. It's like they're in the septic tank trying to fix it all without draining the tank. What is wrong with those people? The church's existence defies logic itself, just to give people a little bit of, heroin, to go sit in the pew and it looks like you're being taken care of, and so all this stained glass, and Catholics, you got your rosaries and all your statues and all your art, especially in Europe, and it makes you feel like you're being taken care of. Nice set of false teeth, but the spiritual reality is none of that stuff matters. The statues and the rosaries and the candles and the Jesus and the stained glass and the art doesn't matter at all. Sermon on the Mount, give it on the Mount, not in a temple. Okay? I send you out by twos across the countryside. And if they don't receive your word, it would be better. Their fate will be just like Sodom and Gomorrah. If they reject you and don't listen to your word, the entire United States has rejected me. What do? I guess I would have to predict that they're going to go. Well, that would be actually a pretty logical prediction. The United States is going to be killed from one end to the other, from stem to stern. Why? It needs to be cleansed. It's a septic tank that needs to be drained. What do you want me to do about it? I didn't do it. I mean, I suppose I contributed to it until I woke up to the truth. But when I got the truth, I just sort of they definitely showed me the wrath of the world. What happens to people that say, like right now, you just say the name Jesus and they want to lock you up. They want to disbar you. They want to withdraw you earn a degree and they want to keep the degree away from you because you say Jesus. That's the end. See, that you should have paid attention to that. Because no degree for saying Jesus, that's what we're talking about. That's a moniker, a sign of the end, the end, the end. The end. Now, what does the end look like? I'll just put it this way. It's the end of civility, the end of civilization, the end of manners, the end of brotherly love, the end of entertainment. Certainly, celebrities are openly being mocked now. Do you realize how many millions of dollars they were paid because you worship them? America and the world, your fashion magazines and your celebrity gossip rags. You never thought that would catch up with you? What does God say about idolatry? Who is the first president of the United States? Osama bin Laden. So here I am in the stupidest nation on earth with the dumbest dumb shits that ever lived, going in circles with their thumbs up their ass, asking questions like, how can I have relief? You're not going to have relief until you acknowledge the existence of existence. Until you understand that reality is reality. Until you understand that the truth from the lie. Until you understand that you have contributed nothing to this thing called society, which never existed in the first place. It was always an illusion. Degrees are an illusion. Medical degrees are obviously a joke. So now here we are. I am where I want to be because everything I predicted came true, except for the dying. I need more like a few billion to die in order for me to really feel like I could really pound my chest. A real predictor. Which is absurd. The notion that there even is a me is absurd. And, at the same time, you say, well, why are you here, making films and stuff? Because that's what the Lord told me to do. I'm just doing what I was led to do. I'm not asking questions. Well, what do you want out of it? I don't know. Just to do the best I can with whatever the Lord has given me to do. Whatever God's given me to do, and I do the best thing I can do. And when I feel it's ready to present to God, I present it to the world. Like Rick Rubin said, he's got a good philosophy on that. But yeah, if God made me a creative person, just because mommy dearest and everyone else said, no, that's not true, you're a loser, or whatever they say, that doesn't change what God made me inside. And so I just got to follow that. Why don't you follow yours? Oh, you don't know what it is. Here we go again. Here we go again. You mean to tell me you've lived for over 50 years and you don't have a clue as to who you are or what you want to do? Actually, I can work with that. Yeah, my other profession is the warring angel. Yeah. Not a pretty sight. I don't have antipathy toward humans. I don't want to see humans harmed. But it's not up to me. It's up to the humans themselves. They're the ones who decide whether they're harmed or not. They're the ones who decide whether they live in paradise or squalor. They're the ones who decide whether they're going to live or die. There's nothing we can do about it. We can sweep them into mass graves. But they, just like in this Civil War movie, when we get to the mass grave part, which I think is the best sequence in the whole thing, the bottom line is, I just, and I love creative stuff. I love that Jesse Plemons performance there. It's just absolutely gold and better than anybody else in the whole movie. And he goes, what kind of, you've probably seen this on the ads, what kind of American are you? And what he really meant was, you South American? Well, where do you come from? Well, Hong Kong. Boom, blew them away. That's China. Into the grave you go, just automatically, no remorse, no nothing. It's the way it is, folks. And that was the vision I had in the beginning. And the planning, just to give you proof on this, the planners now, you understand your government is at war with you, which we've said for 20 years. And selling out to it's only going to make you last a little longer anyway. But they want to kill you. So the next thing is, now that they got Trump locked up in the banana republic of the shitocracy of the United States of Geniuses, they want to go to the suburbs now and round up the MAGAs, because they're the white supremacists, the most evil group on earth. The white supremacy is the most dangerous terror group in the history of the world. And how many people were nodding up and down? I don't think New York needs to be there anymore. I actually don't, because once the IQ level gets down below 50%, you really got to start thinking, is it really redeemable? Is it? I don't think so. And besides, what for? So these sorry asses can live another, 20 years and have some sort of Babylonian, like John McCain type funeral? Really? Washington, D.C., I don't see much need for that. Or the Pentagon, or the UN, or any of it. I don't really see any. To me, it's the whole thing. If you want to look at the big map, God's map, those are all marked for death, for extinction, for an extinction level event. No, not a guy with a pea shooter, not a guy with a tank, not some human, but a big sweep of God. And it could be the nuclear war is just that sweep to burn the earth, which is what it needs to. Well, the reason you'd burn the earth is to cleanse the septic tank. It needs to be drained. Then it needs to be sanitized. That's what's needed. So when you pray, God, please restore us, God's probably thinking, I don't know, I'm not God, but maybe he's thinking that, well, they're asking me to clean the swamp, to clean the septic tank. Because that's the only way there's going to be restoration. What's your idea? That people would suddenly all get the message of Jesus? You mean in this country? You have got to be kidding me. Jesus here? There's no way, dude. That's that'll get you an instant bullet to the head from the powers that should not be. Mm-hmm. They're worried about Jesus because they know it's true. They know Jesus is the Son of God. They know Jesus is basically God that came to earth to experience this and became the sacrifice that paid for the sins of humanity, to restore humanity to to heal the breach between God and man. And that was the only provision given world over. Hey, listen, if I could have redeemed myself through meditation, I spent years meditating. I spent years following Hinduism. I spent years following Buddhism. I spent years following cults in California and particularly in Los Angeles. I spent year after year after year trying to find bliss and hope and peace, and to be peaceful and to be loving with people and to stop this, warlike nature and anger and strife. But I couldn't do it because it's in my guts. I'm stuck with strife and anger and hatred. The only way that I can actually eradicate that and to have peace is if somebody else does it for me. something else. In other words, if God doesn't intervene, if I can't save myself. People say, well, I'm going to go with Jesus now. Good luck with that. So many people decide they're going to go with Jesus, but Jesus is not choosing you. Jesus is not choosing you right now. How could that be? Anyone who wants Jesus gets Jesus. No. Have you ever heard the statement, many are called and few are chosen? It's the hour that you don't know that Jesus is there. It's not something you decide. You have no decision in this. All you can do is hope for the best. That's why it's so important to go with the Lord when he is near, when you have the opportunity. Because when he goes away, you might never see him again. Oh, it couldn't be that cruel of a go. I'm just saying, it's not on you. It's not your decision. It's not your moving. You can't save yourself. The collective, a bunch of guys in a cult like Jim Jones, even taking the Kool-Aid and killing themselves, they couldn't save themselves even in the killing. And of course, that's the intelligence of the CIA, which are the stupidest fucks ever to have been born. You know why the CIA is stupid? Because 3/4 of reality they deny. So how in the world are you ever going to come to terms with humans, which they want to control, if they don't know 3/4 of it? And they have no clue. They not only don't know, they have absolutely no clue. They just think it's I don't really know what they think. They don't think. They just figure, well, we use propaganda on the people, and then when it's ripe, we cluster fuck them by putting them in a war and haul off the bodies and get rich and live in Malibu. All right? By then we're movie producers, so we don't have to go back to claiming we have CIA roots. Even if we were assassins, we just keep that quiet. Yeah. Even if I was meddling down there with the Sandinistas, we're going to keep that quiet. So, that's basically what the world is. It's a septic tank that's full, that's bursting at the seams. What are you going to do? There is no way your little church is going to cleanse it. There is no way your fellowship is going to do anything. One of you is more powerful than the group of you. One of you has more power than the group. Why? Because of the reliance of delusion. When you rely on delusion, collective, let's get more people to pray, that means we're going to have an affect the outcome. If one person prays or 10 people pray, it doesn't matter. If you have 10 people praying, one or two of them actually have faith, then it's one or two people praying. But I know this is all very harsh, but again, the fault is man's, because man has the choice. Man doesn't have to live in squalor like on this earth, in total abject poverty. And I mean spiritual poverty. Man doesn't have to live in poverty like this, in sickness. This is man's choice. He says, if I, worship the golden calf, I'll get lots of trinkets and I'll be rich and I'll be happy. The rest of them can go fuck themselves. And, okay, well, we cut that one off. And, basically, we're back. And, okay, so you got some audio up to about 30 some odd minutes, but then I had to stop it at that point. But you get the gist of it, that man is responsible for a lot of the septic tank that he lives in, and that if the tank needs to be cleansed, it needs to be cleansed. What that means is basically the good people die with the bad people. Sorry to put it that way, but I mean it's a sad reality, but we've done it to ourselves. And if you keep going with the system, you can expect a lot more horror show. If that's what you want, just keep going. Keep doing that, pulling that shit they pulled on Trump. And I mean, I may not be the biggest fan of Trump, but I can tell you this. What I saw is a prophetic marker. It means we are good to go. Maximum depopulation, baby. And I wouldn't be sad about it. You know what I mean? It's, a lot of this was decades in the making, generations in the making. You're not responsible for it all. And most of you who feel guilty about it, you're praying good people. You've inquired about, is there something beyond this? And you've gotten your answer. I mean, and I think that's a good thing. And you've abided in that. And that's wonderful. You've done everything you're supposed to do, but you can't, sometimes you can do everything you're supposed to do and the ship still goes down, you still drown. There's just no guarantee, unless God has you building the ark. Otherwise, there's no guarantee. The evil of man is man is born with, and he can't eradicate the evil by good deeds. You can't eradicate the evil by meditation. You can't eradicate the evil by not being angry or suppressing your emotions and suppressing your lusts and desires and things like that. Oh, that may help, but you cannot undo the damage that has been done. Only God can fix that, can heal the breach, and only with your free will and consent. And that has to line up with who he chooses. Sometimes I know people who have begged God to come into their lives for years, and it never happened. I don't know the deal. I didn't do it. With me, I got to the end of my rope. I fought God. I fought. Then finally, it's like I have no other moves. I got no other option. I'm beyond suicide. I'm beyond it all. Everything has turned out to be a complete, total failure in my life. And I had put my best effort forward to not make it, to make sure that doesn't happen. They said, if you don't want it to be a failure, you have to join the collective. I said, but I'm not that kind of person. I'm not really a collective sort of guy, And oh, well, it's your choice. Too bad. Then I guess you can just sit out there and be a loser. And so that's there is no good decision made in the collective. The crowd, as they say in Wall Street, is always wrong. Anyway, now that we played the prophetic Trump card, and that's the card. That's the card that will ensure the mass death of the people that did this to Trump. I don't know what's going to happen in New York or to Washington, D.C. or to any of these areas where the judge is, the courts are, but they're going to be wiped out. I don't know how God's going to do it or what he's going to do. I just know from when that card was played, that reap what you sow karma comes back into it. God will not allow that to go unaddressed. And say what you will about Trump, he can be selfish, he's bombastic, he lies at times, he's got a lot of bravado, but I do think he wants God. I do think he whatever the concept of God he has, he loves God in that way, and he feels he's being led by God in this crusade. I mean, how could he stand up to all this stuff? I couldn't do it. So in that sense, he's a great man. So and he's better than all of them, but they've just sealed their fate. And unfortunately, a lot of good people will probably die with the bad people. And that's just the way it's going to go. And probably we're looking at, unless NATO can turn this thing off, unless there is some sense, but you know why they're pushing with the nuclear war. and Red Dawn in the United States and elsewhere. They're pushing it because they're afraid of going to jail. They're very appreciative that all you've looked the other way and you're giving them a pass. You go buy your fast food and you go to your universities, you get your degrees and you follow the rules. They're very happy that you do that. But they're slated for death, for destruction. And if you sign on and follow their orders, you too will be destroyed. And I mean, in more ways than one. There are worse things than death, folks. You know what they are? Dying, a fallible, stupid, unaware, untruthful, lying man that has no way of unraveling it all. And they just go down in a hovel of what was their body, and their spirits poof like dust and gone. And why is that a sham? Here lies so-and-so, and he followed the rules. He was a good guy in the collective. We worked together. We fought the enemy. We built the city. We did all this great stuff for you people. From another way of looking at it, that man is a failure. Abject, complete, total, missed the boat. He missed the call. He missed the whole shooting match. He missed it all. He might have even served in Vietnam or been kind of a patriot. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not based on merit. It's based on free will. You either can see or you can't. They like to say the people that didn't take the jab are the superior humans. Absolutely right on, spot on. The people that didn't take the jab are the superior thinkers, the superior people, and should be actually the leaders of our society. But oftentimes they're the dregs. And the leaders are more the retarded, the stupid, the self, the collectivists. They individually, they have no intelligence, nothing. They have to rely on the collective to have a collective intelligence, a collective power. And the people are duped by that, and they follow that. They go, oh, that's the establishment. We're going to follow that. And it leads to a lot of unhappy people that face death. And they honestly, I've heard these death-side confessions. It's like they don't really even know who they are in their last breath. They have no idea. And they don't care. They're not curious because, well, that was beaten out of them. So what made them human is not what survived to the grave. Therefore, they are a failure, period. Next, please. Okay, so the people that didn't take the jab are the superior people. The people that enforce the jab, want to lock people up because they don't take the jab, are the same people that say we can survive a nuclear World War III, okay? And I don't think I need to point out who they are. These people need, if you really want to drain the septic tank, and cleanse it, you got to eliminate those people, those idiotic spokespeople, the George Clooney's, the Sean Penn's, they need to be gone. And they're stripped of their money and their whole bit because they have really led a lot of people to their destruction. And that will be evident in the future, unless that there could always be a change of heart. There could be suddenly people wake up and go, oh my God, I didn't create all this. Isn't just from the Big Bang. Wow, man. It looks like someone's behind it. Oh, geez. Oh boy. What am I going to do now? Well, what I would do is get real quiet, get on my knees and just I don't know. I'd throw myself down on the desert floor and I'd say, please, God, forgive me for being such an idiot, such a arrogant shithead. Please, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I became my own God and I've ruined everything for everyone. And everyone applauds me like I'm some kind of hero. And I've seen them die, those people whom society celebrates. And it's all I can do is walk out of the funeral, you people are all deluded. Have a great time. Make sure you get drunk at the reception. Bye, right? I mean, what are you going to do? I'm going to pay my respects. Yes, I respect you for being so selfish and such a fool. Here you are. Maybe I should bow down and suck your toes while they're dead. There's gray toes with no blood in them. Just suck on them. Maybe I should make a display of it for the entire congregation so they can see what real devotion to death is really all about. My dog's gotten completely out of control because of me, because I'm very animated now. I'm doing a little acting here. But I'm trying to make a point. The point is, to save America, you'd have to strip away all the universities, all the hospitals, all the banks, all the politicians. My goodness, what would be left? You know what I mean? If you want to save the patient, if you're a surgeon, you'd have to cut away all the cancer. Well, and then what I mentioned, those things are unsavable. So what do you expect? I'm pretty happy with the expectations. When I get confirmation that, we didn't steer you wrong, not on COVID, not on this, not on prophetic utterance, not on, I talked to, not that long ago, I talked to Brother Thomas. I was going to have him on because he predicted this whole thing. This whole commie thing that's coming. He had it nailed. Boom, 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 boom. And just as he said, one thing after the other. And of course, did anyone take him seriously? No. They take astrologers seriously. They look for people to take seriously, people that won't offend them. So, to me, it's a great day. It's an ominous day, but it's a great day. I'm glad they played the Trump card. I'm happy they did. I was kind of a little bit in shock because it was a milestone, momentous occasion. But I'm glad they played it because now the countdown, at least now we know. One way or another, we're gonna collide. We're gonna hit the wall. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really hard. And if you're shy around mass graves and dismembered bodies, you better go to a morgue and start watching some autopsies because you're gonna have to buck up. You're gonna have to get you're gonna have to start getting used to blood and guts, man. You eat them for breakfast, buddy. Come on and ask for more. Right? Got to get your war face on. Let me see your war face. That's not a war face. This is a war face. Ooh. That's a war face. All right. We passed the Rubicon, folks. We did it. Congratulations. You will be satisfied with justice. It may be fleeting. You may only be able to enjoy it for 5 minutes, but you're going to have your moment where you go, you know what? Thank you for at least showing me that I'm not insane. At least showing us that we're not crazy, that we were right the whole time. I was right since a teenager. And all I was trying to do was explain to them what reality, and they do, oh, sure. I had one guy say, if it's like that, I'm going to kill myself. If it's like I say. I remember on the set of Society, one last little anecdote, and I'll let you go. I'm on there, and they're doing the whole sort of shunting orgy thing, if you're familiar with this movie. And I was on the set. It was in Culver City. I remember we rented a warehouse, and these women that were playing old society mavens came up to me, and they go, "That's not the way society is. You're really exaggerating. That's really awful of you to say it's like that ugly." And I'm like, I'm not taking anything back. That's the way it is. And they were so mad. I was so mad. You can't believe it. They didn't want society to be that depraved. They didn't want it. Even I just saw this movie. Was it Countess du Barry? A French film by Maïwenn. She was a gal that used to be married to Luc Besson and became a director. And anyway, starring Johnny Depp. It's out now. Well, I enjoyed it, but I really enjoy French history, so I'm really enjoyed it. But and it's all in French, so you might turn you off. But I love the French language, just like I love Italian. I love the Romance languages. Anyway, the bottom line is, it was just all this pomp and circumstance, just crazy, of Louis 15. And then going from Louis 15 to transfer power to Louis 16. Louis 16 was married to Antoinette, that became the king during the roi during the French Revolution. Vive la Revolution. And my goodness, it was you felt like taking Versailles, and just like steamrolling it, which flattening the entire building along with everyone in it. That's at the same time, watching the pomp and circumstance was just so over the top and so perfect. And then I realized, in high school has become, I'm sorry, I don't know if Ben's gonna let me talk. Remember this with Molly, and then with Dasha, and now Ben. A long line of interrupters. Anyway, I don't forgot the point I was trying to make, but the point was, there were scenes in there of orgies, orgies, like after dinner orgies with the courtesans and the prostitutes, and they'd have a room where it was all just, and it's just like what I wrote. I wrote I half wrote a novel called The Great Fear, which is almost, which features a lot of that decadence of the royalty of La France. And that's the same thing we have today in high society. It's no different than Versailles. It's and then eventually it was time to get the guillotine out. It was time to start beheading, Louis XVI, that bitch Antoinette. Who else got that? The harlot, right? Jeanne du Barry. That's what the movie's called. It's called Jeanne du Barry. She became the Countess du Barry. Because in order to have sex with a king, illicit sex as a courtesan, as a prostitute, she had to take on she had to marry a count in order to have the title. No, I know. I know. I know. It's the perfect thing to look at comparing to our society, because we're way further in decadence than Versailles ever got, than the nobility ever got in France. And they were the most decadent sons of bitches since Rome. Seriously. They were just insane with their rules and their decadence and their cruelty, mass cruelty. And with that, I bid you shalom. Enjoy the day for the Jesus Lives, man. That card, boom, they played that fucking card.